Hey, it's Maria with Wealth Creation, where we talk about wealth, income, passive income, trying to get from the life you have now to the life that you want to have in the future. And it's all for ordinary people. So you don't have to be like an expert in finances or business or anything to benefit from this channel, because I'm trying to keep it really simple and break it down so that you can figure it out just like I'm figuring it out. All right. So today we're going to do a definitions video, and we are going to define the word cryptocurrency. And I'm doing this because it's kind of confusing to a lot of people. Like, even for me, I know what it means. I know what crypto is, but to try to explain it to people, they just look at me like I'm from another planet, because it's hard for me to define. So I sat down, I made a bunch of notes, which I'm going to be referring to here. So if I keep looking down, that's because my notes are underneath me and are underneath the camera. And I really want to try to give you a simple explanation so that you have a good grasp in your head of exactly what we mean when we're talking about crypto. Okay? So when most people think of the word crypto, the first thing that comes to mind is Bitcoin. And if you look at the Bitcoin logo here on your screen, you're going to see that it looks a lot like a gold coin. And it's easy for your mind to say, oh, it's like a coin, like money that I can put in my pocket. And that's not true. It is spendable. It is kind of like money, but it certainly isn't tangible. It's not something that you can put in your pocket and then take out of the store and buy something with. It's a digital currency, which means that it lives on the internet. And we're going to get into that a little bit more in a minute here. So let's start with kind of an official definition to work from. In simple terms, cryptocurrency is an intangible digital currency that's decentralized. Okay, what does that mean? Let's break that down, because some of these terms are like, what? And I want to make sure that you understand it. So let's start with intangible. Intangible means you cannot hold it in your pocket. You know, it's there. It's kind of like the air. You know, it's there, but it's intangible for the most part. Or electricity, it's intangible. You know that it lights your lights up. You know that it makes your stove and your refrigerator work, but it's not something that you can like pick up and say, oh, here's electricity. So that's the first step. The second is digital, which second word we're going to go over is digital. I just said that twice. Oh, well. It means it lives on the internet. So if there were no internet, there would be no cryptocurrency. And that's kind of scary to some people, but the internet's been with us. Well, first of all, computers and doing things electronically have been with us for decades, even before the internet was really a thing. You know, banks and institutions were using the internet, governments were using it. Well, they were using some kind of electronic communication between each other or between their own branches of their own company. So it's been around for a really long time, and the internet's been around for a pretty long time too at this point, and we rely on it so much that if it were to disappear, our whole world would be in chaos. Yeah. So you probably couldn't even get your money out of your bank if the electronics went down, you know, the internet went down. I can remember going to a store one day and they couldn't sell me anything because the internet was down and their cash registers wouldn't work. And I'm like, can't you just write it on a piece of paper and put it in later? They're like, no, we can't do that. And it kills me how many people don't even know how to count change anymore because it's all done for them. So if you are worried that if the internet goes down, your Bitcoin's going to be gone, it's not going to be gone. It will still be there when the internet comes back up. And if the internet goes down forever, we got a whole lot bigger problems than Bitcoin to worry about. So let's go on to the term decentralized. That is kind of a confusing one to some people. It was confusing to me, but what that means is it's not controlled by any government or institution. It is decentralized. In other words, there is no like headquarters that's keeping all of the information about your cryptocurrency, about your money. So if you have money in a bank, that is centralized. The bank knows how much money you have. The money's in your bank account at that bank, but other banks can't really look at that unless you let them. And your bank controls where that money goes. Now you can tell them where that money goes, send it here, pay this person, deposit this amount, but it's controlled by the bank and regulated by the government so that if they really wanted to, they could freeze your bank account. And they have done that to certain people if they don't like what they're doing. So by decentralized, it means that no one government or bank controls it. It's controlled throughout thousands of computers that are all linked together throughout the world, and therefore it cannot be stopped. You can still get your crypto, you can still move it around, you can still use it for things, even if governments and banks say no, because it's not on their system. That's pretty cool. So those were the major terms of the definition. I just wanted to make sure that I made those pretty clear. I hope you understand them. If not, you can let me know in the comments and I'll try to make them even more clear. Okay, so let's go to the history of crypto because I kind of want you to know where it came from. Obviously, it hasn't been around as much as like gold or even paper money, but it did start a few decades ago. So the idea of digital currency started in the 1980s, and they were trying to figure it out. How can we do like a digital currency and instead of a paper currency? And that was when credit cards were becoming really big too. They had been around before, but everybody didn't have one. And I don't know that they had debit cards and ATMs until about that time as well, 1970s, 1980s. And so this idea that your money could live on a piece of plastic and you could access it at any time was sparking the idea that maybe we could have a completely digital currency that didn't rely on, paper money or, government money at all. But they couldn't figure it out. Like the technology really wasn't there because they didn't have a way of confirming or verifying the transactions. So with a bank, if you take your money out of the bank has a paper trail and they know where your money was, where it went. You can't take out more than you have, all that kind of stuff. But with crypto, part of the early problems with it was that you could pay somebody and then pay somebody else with the same money and they maybe wouldn't catch it. So, and smart people were figuring that out. So they had to come up with a way to use it that didn't allow for that. That made it, fair for everybody. And if you sent coins to this person, then you couldn't send them to this person. If you received them from this person, they couldn't send it to somebody else at the same time. So finally in 2008, 2009, the blockchain was invented. So what is the blockchain? That's another kind of one of those words where like, I kind of know, but I don't really know. So the blockchain is a whole bunch of computers, like thousands of computers, and each computer is called a node. And so you have nodes on the blockchain, and all together they make up the blockchain. And each cryptocurrency has its own block on the blockchain, or its own little space on the blockchain. So like Bitcoin has a block, and Ethereum has a block, and Litecoin has a block, and Tether has a block, and all of the different coins. There's thousands of coins, and they all have their own block. And what happens is everything that has ever happened with that coin is like a little blueprint, and every computer or node on the blockchain has a copy of it. So they all have a copy of it. And once it's updated, if I send money to you, that updates, adds a little bit to that block, and then it gets copied throughout the whole system. But before that happens, the computer that you are dealing with checks with other computers in the blockchain to make sure all the data is accurate. So if you have a copy on this computer that is different than a copy on that computer, they know there's a discrepancy. So that is a security measure to make sure that everything is verifiable and all transactions are taken care of, and you really can't cheat. And that doesn't mean people aren't trying. There's always hackers trying to get into it, but it's pretty darn secure. And it's brilliant technology, which can be used not just for cryptocurrency, but for a lot of other industries as well. And it's estimated that in the next 10 to 20 years, it's going to revolutionize the way we do a lot of different things in this world. So it's pretty cool. All right. So I said before that when most people think of cryptocurrency, the first thing that comes to mind is Bitcoin. Well, that's not the only type of crypto. That is a coin. Bitcoin is a coin. Ethereum is a coin. And those are the most popular, but there's all these other things. So I just wanted to run through them real quick so you're familiar with them, just in case you ever hear the term. You know that goes under like the umbrella of cryptocurrency. So there are payment tokens, altcoins, security tokens, NFTs, which are non-fungible tokens, decentralized finance tokens, utility tokens, and a lot more. So there's basically coins and tokens are kind of the big two categories of them. Coins are like used more for making payments back and forth, and tokens are used for other things. And if somebody is a lot smarter than me about cryptocurrency and you want to correct me or update that in the comments, then please do, because I want to learn and I want everybody else to learn. I'm giving you my best from what I know about it, but I don't always get it 100% right. Okay, so let's talk about the pros and cons of cryptocurrency. And I'm almost done here. This is the last part of the video, so I know it's longer than I wanted it to be. All right, first of all, pros. It works virtually anywhere in the world, even places where banking isn't that easy, and even places where it's hard to get money to. So some countries it's harder to get money in and out of. Some countries in Africa are like that, in the Middle East are like that, in Asia, where you can't just send your money over to them. It's hard for them to receive it because some of them don't have bank accounts. And then there's the exchange fees because you're converting your local money to their local money, and it's just kind of difficult. But if you have cryptocurrency, let's say that you have Bitcoin and they have a Bitcoin wallet, you can instantly transfer it over to them, and then they can go and cash that in for their own local currency. What's cool about a lot of developing countries is they have, I guess they're kind of like banks or companies or people where you can actually sell them your crypto and get local money. So that's pretty cool. So you just transfer it from your wallet to their wallet. And just to be really brief, because I didn't mention this before, a wallet is like a bank, kind of like the bank account of crypto. It's where you store your cryptocurrency. So if you buy some, it goes into your wallet. And then when you are ready to send it to someone, you send it through something called an exchange. And we're going to go into that in another video, but I just wanted to say that real quick. So also another pro is that the blockchain technology, like I told you before, is pretty darn secure. Yes, people are trying to hack it, but overall it's very secure, and it's a very good, stable way to send crypto back and forth. Also, another pro, which we've talked about before, is it does not rely on banks or governments. And there's no central authority. It is decentralized. And crypto users themselves, like you and me, control the sending and receiving of money. So that allows for anonymous transactions. You know, you can send it to, you're sending it to a wallet, which is a wallet address is like a combination of numbers and letters. And you don't even have to know the real name of the person you're sending it to or receiving. They don't have to know your name. It can be completely anonymous and can take place anywhere in the world. And also the crypto market, if you just want to use it like a stock market kind of and buy and sell crypto to try to make a profit, you're not sending it to anyone, that's open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. So it's not like the stock market that's open Monday through Friday, like 9 to 4 or whatever their hours are. You can do it anytime, anywhere in the world. So it doesn't matter your time zone, your time of day, or any of that. And then the other thing is that cryptocurrency is not tied to a single currency or economy. So if a country has a problem and their currency value takes a dive or their economy takes a dive and they go into a recession or even a depression, that cryptocurrency is not tied specifically to that country. So in theory, it shouldn't be as affected. Now, in the real world, especially in recent years, the value of cryptocurrency, especially the really big coins like Bitcoin and Ethereum, they tend to go up and down with the other markets. So they're kind of acting a little bit more like a security would than they used to. But because they're not tied to any single government or currency, it should be a little bit of a hedge against something bad happening in that particular country. All right. Then the other thing is cheaper, faster money transfers. There are small fees associated when you exchange cryptocurrency. You do it on an exchange, and they do have fees, but different ones have different fees. It's not really that much. And also, the system is not going to collapse on a single point of focus. So if your bank account, if they get hacked and they're gone, like what if the bank goes bankrupt? Yes, there's insurance from the federal government in the US and probably similar things in other countries, but what if their computers go down? What if they get hacked? What if you can't access your money? Since cryptocurrency is decentralized, and I told you there's thousands of computers called nodes that all have copies of the exact same thing. If a couple of them go down, it just switches to a couple different ones. So the chances of the whole system going down is almost zero. All right, let's go with cons, because we got to talk about the disadvantages as well. First of all, if you're using them to hold them or to trade with, know that they can be very volatile. So if you want to buy something that costs, say, $300 and you put $300 into, say, Bitcoin, it may not be worth $300 when you go to buy that thing. So that's something to be aware of. It may only be worth $250. Now it may also be worth $400. So that's to your benefit, but it's very volatile. So it's not like you can go to the store and rely on the fact that this is going to cost $5 and I can give them $5 and that's going to be good. Cryptocurrency is changing in value all the way. Now there are ways to minimize the possibility of a hit when you're actually dealing with it live, and you figure out those as you go along, but it is very volatile. There's also lots of scams out there, lots of scammers out there that are trying to get you to buy into their crypto trading platform or whatever. And some of them look really legit. I've even talked to a few people that I thought for a minute were legit, and then I looked more into it and I'm like, oh no, that's a scam, but they're good. So, because it's anonymous, once you send your money to them, your crypto to them, it's gone. You can't get it back. It's not like with your credit card where you can put in a dispute with a credit card company. So you need to know who you're dealing with. And scammers know this and they take advantage of this as much as possible. So be very careful about who you are sending your cryptocurrency to, and do a lot of research before sending anything anywhere. Also, it's not a long-term thing yet. Money in some form has been around forever, as long as there have been humans probably, but this digital currency and cryptocurrency, it's only been around really since about 2009 when the first Bitcoin came out. So while it's got a few decades, it doesn't have like the centuries or eons that regular money does. So it's still new and it's still developing. So for some people, that is a disadvantage. And it can be hard to transact large amounts. So if you want to sell, let's say you have 3 Bitcoin, which the price of Bitcoin right now has been hovering around $20,000. So that would be around $60,000 worth of Bitcoin, give or take. That's probably not going to be that difficult. But if you have 3,000 Bitcoin, $20,000 times 3,000 is, I don't even know, $6 million, $60 million, something like that. Sometimes, because the larger the amounts get, it's harder to find a buyer. Because remember, this is peer-to-peer. You're not selling and buying from like a central bank or something like that. In order for you to sell your cryptos, there has to be a buyer that's willing to buy it at your price, kind of like trading stocks in a way. And the really huge transactions can sometimes take a while to fill because there just aren't that many buyers at that level. Now, for ordinary people like you and me, that's probably not going to be an issue. Wouldn't it be great if it were an issue? Because that would means you have tons of money. But for most of us, it's not. We're not ever going to have to worry about that. All right. So, final thing, I'm going to ask a question. After all this information, and hopefully it really helps you understand what cryptocurrency is better, I'm just going to say, should you buy crypto or not? So, my take on it. I'm not a financial advisor. I can only tell you what I've done personally, and I can say that yes, I crypto. I don't have a lot of it. I do use it for certain things. I have sent it to different companies and people. I have bought things with it. I use it for some of my investments. I do have some that I buy and hold, but none of that adds up to a huge amount. And it's something that I'm still learning about. And so I do not do a lot with it, but I do things with it. Now, for you, whether you use it or not is up to you, but I want to give you a reason to consider it. And that is that I believe the world as a whole is moving towards digital currency. You have governments talking about, making their own digital currency. You have large institutions, governments, banks, large institutions. They are all investing in cryptocurrency. Like if you look at the balance sheet of a major company, like you're thinking about buying stock and you're looking at their portfolio and you see their balance sheet, I bet you a lot of them are going to have at least some crypto holdings. And I know that a few months back, Fidelity, which is a huge company, huge financial company, and they do a lot of 401ks, and they announced a few months back that you could start putting a percentage of your 401k into cryptocurrency. And if they're doing it, then they have a lot of confidence that this is going to be around for a while and going to be a viable investment vehicle for their customers, because they wouldn't be doing it if they thought their customers were going to lose money with it, because their whole business thing is to make money for themselves and their clients. All right. So should you get involved? I don't know. I think everybody should at least go through the mechanics, learn the basics of how to get an account, how to set up a wallet, how to buy a little bit of crypto, even if it's $10, because I think the world's going that way, and it would be better if all of us were familiar with it before it happens, before it kind of is pushed upon us. And I'm going to do another video on like the details of how to do that. But yeah, so that's the end of this video. Much longer than I wanted it to be, sorry. If you have any questions or comments, please put them in the comments below. If you have something to add to this that I missed, or if I got something wrong, because as I said, I'm still learning, and also I'm still a little fuzzy on how to explain it, even though I tried to do a good job. Please put them in the comments below. The more we share, the more we learn, and I think that's really important. Okay, that's it for now. Have an amazing day, and here's to our success.